side to the west side. River to river. Jesus. I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness.
I got joy in my soul. God is in control. I got Satan on my trail, but I'm singing all this well. He's attacking every day, but I'm watching while I pray. No matter the attack, I won't turn back. This means war. This means war. Say this means war. This means war. I plead the blood. I plead the blood. There's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. Yeah, you can't have my family. You can't have my family. You can't have my increase. You can't have my increase. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my. You can't have my. You can't have my. I plead the blood. There's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. Hey, I said you can't have my family. You can't have my family. You can't have my increase. You can't have my increase. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my. You can't have my. You can't. I plead the blood. I said there's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. Wait a minute. You can't have my family. You can't have my family. You can't have my increase. You can't have my increase. You can't have this house. You can't have this house. You can't have my. You can't have my. You can't have my. I plead the blood. There's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. This means war. This means war.
Peace. Hey there. Didn't think you would see me here again, right? Well, I'm back. Peace be unto you and welcome to the Trust in the Lord Hour. The Honorable James David Manning is well on his way to a deserving vacation. So if the Mellon Bank, if you're there out there, you can take a rest too, because I'm not telling you anything. So you can wait for him to come back if you want, so that way you could try to spy on us like you've been doing. But I'm here now. This is the Trust in the Lord. And let me tell you about what becomes of people that lean to their own understanding. But before that, I'm going to read Proverbs 3. We have the Honorable James David Manning has been trusting in the Lord and teaching us how to trust in the Lord for about 17 years and counting. I mean, he probably was teaching that longer than what he says, but to make it a specific teaching and for everyday teaching is very powerful. I don't know where he gets the energy from. I'm tired after 2 days, and for him to do this over and over and over. This is five days a week, 6 sermons a week, 10 sermons a week for years, for at least the past 17 to 20 years he's been doing that. It's amazing. Where does he get his? Well, we know that he get his word from the Lord, and he prays, but it's very difficult to come up with something new to say every day. So as I was praying today and thinking about trusting the Lord and thinking about how we can be not in our calling, the way we can get out of our calling, the way that we can not be blessed, the only way that we can not do what the Lord told us what to do is through leaning to our own understanding. So we are our own worst enemies if we let that happen. Let me refresh our memory of where the word of trust in the Lord and lean out to your own understanding came from. So let's read Proverbs 3. And when you read Proverbs 3, you will know that wisdom is extremely valuable in this world. If you don't have wisdom, you'll never grow. If you don't have wisdom, you'll touch the fire not knowing that it's hot. If you don't have wisdom, you will not be able to trust the Lord. And it reads, "My son, forget not thy law, my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee." If you do not forget the law, peace will be added. If you keep the commandments what God has told you, peace will be added to you. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck and write them upon the table of thy heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with thy first fruits of all thy increase. So, as we start a new day today, we need to be reminded of this, because many of us walk through today, day after day, without trusting in the Lord. Without trusting in the Lord to cover us in the rain, without trusting the Lord to feed us, without trusting the Lord to be our shield in battle, without trusting the Lord. And what comes to people that lean on to their own understanding? Destruction. 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 You will be destroyed, utterly destroyed, and you will be cursed and you will die. All throughout the Bible, you will see evidence of this. What are the commandments that Jesus adjures us to follow? What does he command us to do? When your children are born, you often give them everything, right? They don't need for nothing in this world. Your children don't suffer. They are clothed, fed, sheltered. And that's if you're a good father, right? And when I say that, what I mean is when you come in, what do you want to do when your children come in? You want to give them everything that you can, right? So you go out there and you'll buy baby Jordans, which they don't need, or you'll buy some Versace pants that they're gonna grow out of it in like 2 months. But you want to provide for them, right? So God has done the same thing for us. It is hard to kill me. It is hard to defeat me. Why is that? Because I'm blessed through the power of Jesus and Allah. And if you are a man of God or a woman of God, it will be hard to kill you and defeat you. Adam and Eve had the same blessings, possibly even better than we are. They were not waiting for paradise like I am. They were in paradise immediately from birth. They were born into paradise until what did they do? They sinned. They leaned to their own understanding. They did not trust in the Lord. And that's when their destruction came. Let's just read something in Genesis for a second. Because you don't have to believe me or believe Pastor or believe, but I hope that if you are a true woman and man of God, if you are a true, let's say, righteous woman or righteous man or virtuous woman, that you do believe the word of God. So let's take it from the word. And let's look at Adam and Eve's son and see why I say that if you lean onto your own understanding, you can only get destroyed. It says in chapter 3 of Genesis, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden, God said, ye shall not eat, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So there you go, destruction. Now, I can read more about the serpent and how he beguiled the woman and how he tricked her into eating and lied to her. But we already know that. I mean, if you don't know that, then you can go back and look at Genesis 3 and read that for yourself. But God warned them. And Eve even said that. Eve knew what God said, but she didn't trust it. She didn't trust it with her whole heart. If she did trust it, the serpent would have never been able to beguile her. If Adam trusted, the serpent, he would have never hearkened unto his wife, because he already heard what God said here. And this is what we do as young teenagers going into adulthood. What do? We often rebel against what our parents tell us. They may say, don't go out late at night, don't do this, don't do that, and what do? We do the opposite. They said, if you don't do this, then this will happen. If you don't do that, then that would happen. I remember on my 21st birthday, I was in St. John's University studying, I think, psychology, and I had a minor in the penal code, the law. And my friends that I grew up with, they weren't in college. They was on the street hanging out and things like that. They said, let's go out. Let's go have a couple of drinks, yada, yada, yada. So I said, okay. My mom begged me. She said, listen, bring them over here. Y'all can sit in the backyard. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Y'all can drink. Y'all can smoke, whatever. This is the first time she gave me permission to do that. And when she gave me that permission and she told me, she's like, listen, do not go out there. I went out there and what happened? I got arrested. Few of my friends at that time, you could say my boys, they robbed somebody by gunpoint, and all they said was it was the guys in dreads. So he pointed each one of us out because we all had dreadlocks. It was about 13 of us that got put in a slammer. But at that time, I was doing well in school, and I had at that time the assistant DA from the Bronx was one of my teachers, so I called him. So he came in and vouched for me, and I was able to go free. But I did not lean. I'm sorry. I did lean to my own understanding then. I didn't trust in what my parents say, and many of us don't trust in what our Father says, our Father in heaven. We don't trust in what Jesus said, and we do what we want to do because we lean onto our own understanding. But of course, God told them, he warned them, and he told them, you can have anything, just don't touch the first fruits. Don't touch the first fruits. What did he say? The fruit that's in the midst of the garden. God said, of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, you shall not have. Adam ate, Eve ate, the serpents beguiled, he deceived, he charmed his way into your hearts. He charms his way into our hearts. He tells us we need this, we need that. He told you that giving of the first fruits is too much. Giving your firstborn is too hard. The reason why God has cursed you is to stop the victory that you were created to enjoy. That's another profound teaching that I heard the Honorable James David Manning teach. Let me say it again. The reason God has cursed you is to stop the victory that you were created to enjoy. We cannot be cursed. We cannot be killed. I'm sorry. We cannot be defeated. We can't be cursed. But the only thing that can defeat us is the curse. The only thing that can destroy us is the curse. And we get through that curse by leaning to our own understanding, as Adam and Eve did. They leaned to their own understanding, and what happened? They were cursed. And we suffer for that curse since the beginning until now, until the curse is broken. And when will the curse be broken? Probably when death and hell are cast into the lake of fire. So God didn't create us to be the bottom of world's social total pole or economic total pole. You know, I often ponder about us Canaanites and why we compete against each other rather than support each other. If I had a business, or better yet, if you had a business, I would support you. I would buy from you and I would help you. Why? Because that's what we should do. We should support each other. There's a man that is in this community. He walks around in this community with a wagon or a shopping cart. And in that shopping cart, that wagon, he has teas, iced tea, a big, let's say 5-gallon drum of tea or any type of whatever drink that he wants. And he walks throughout the community, back and forth all over the place. And what does he do? He sells the tea. And for years, I have seen the Honorable James David Maness, every time he passed by his church, he'll stop him and buy maybe about 5 or 10 cups of tea from him. And I often wondered, why did he do that? You know, he saw them out in the street and he just buys the teas from him. And he just gives it to the children or gives it to anybody nearby that may be thirsty. There's another woman who walks around in a shopping cart and was selling little bubbles and toys and things like that. And every time she passed, he would buy something for us and give it to little kids. And I was wondering, why did he do that? Many of us, no, I would say me, because when I say you get defensive. I would have probably just walked right past him, went to the corner, and brought me Arizona or something like that. And many of us do that right now. We don't keep the money in our community. Why? Because we're supporting everything else but each other. And we're always after each other to do the wrong thing. So a person that gives their life for the upliftment of Jesus shall never be shall never be selfish, because pastor isn't selfish. He supports this community, but the community doesn't support him. They support themselves. They all talk about me, but they don't want to support the community. We got plenty of people in the world that has, let's say, wealth or maybe cash, money, right? But yet again, there are people sleeping on the streets, homeless. There are people that don't know where they're going to get their next meal. Why? Because we have a lot of selfish people. We feed the community every single day. If you come to this door and you ask for clothes, we'll give it to you. If you ask for shoes, we'll give it to you. If you ask for shelter, we'll give it to you. If you ask for whatever, the Lord will provide. Every day, every morning, what do? We feed to the community. I'll be back after this break.
To lift us up from off the ground, to bring the proud and mighty down, to heal our hearts when we don't understand. Yes, he's big enough to prophesy the future. Yes, he's big enough to cleanse the darkest sin. To stop the pain, to pay the price, to make the perfect sacrifice, that though we die, that we can live again. Yes, he's big enough. Yes, he's big enough.
Peace be unto you and your family. Welcome to the Atla Children's Breakfast Program. We welcome parents and their children to partake in our breakfast program from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday downstairs in our fellowship hall. At 8:30, we end our breakfast program to run our elementary, middle, and high school. If you wish to inquire about our school, please speak to one of our staff. Have a blessed day, and thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es José Luis Matos. Soy uno de los asistentes ministros de la iglesia Atla World Missionary Church. Mi pastor James David Manning me ha pedido que le diera oficialmente la bienvenida a nuestro ministerio. Bienvenidos a ustedes y a toda su familia a disfrutar de nuestra comida y hospitality. También queremos invitarlos a nuestro servicio que se da todos los sábados a las 10 de la mañana. Si hay algo que podemos ayudarle, por favor déjenoslo saber. También tenemos una escuela desde el kindergarten hasta el 12 grado. Si desea inscribir a sus hijos, por favor contacte a la madre Elizabeth Saramani al teléfono 877-777-0734. El teléfono es 877-777-0734. Gracias. Peace.
Give us your child, and we shall bring back a world leader. I've been teaching in this school for about 21 or 20 years. 20 years, I would say. And I can say that anyone who has graduated from this school has the tool to be the ultimate success. They have the tools to go beyond where they need to go. And if you just trust in the Lord will show you how to get there. But everyone that comes in this ministry, whether through the school or whether through the ministry, has the ability to go far. Now, the reason God has cursed you is to stop the victory that you were created to enjoy. And that's the Mount Sinai principle from Deuteronomy 28. So if you look at Deuteronomy 28, and it said, and these are the blessings for you if you are obedient. I won't read the curses for you if you are disobedient, but that will happen too if you are disobedient. So now in Deuteronomy 28, it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command you this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. He will give you everything that you need. You're born to be blessed, not cursed. You're born to be above, not beneath. But if you do not hearken, if you do not listen, if you do not want to do the first fruits, pay your tithes, strength to strength, open, willing heart, have a willing heart, that's just some of the things that you can be cursed about. And these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. So if you're obedient, you can't even stop your blessings. You can't stop being blessed if you're obedient, if you trust in the Lord and lean not into your own understanding. That's something that has stuck with me for, I would say, maybe about all of the time in this ministry. When I first was working here, I remember, I'm not sure exactly why it happened, but Pastor sat me, Scribe LaFleur, and Captain Fall down in his study. It was just us three here at that time, men working. And he told us, he said, you're not the leader. He said, whatever I tell you to do, just do it. Don't think about, oh, I can do it this way, or I can do it that way, or I can do it this way. And that stuck with me. And I realized that no matter if I think I'm right or not, God is not going to bless my disobedience. God is not going to bless me going the opposite way. If the Honorable Jesus David Manning was wrong, which he is not, then he will get the blunt of whatever needs to happen. It's not my job to tell him that he needs to go this way or that way, or I say, oh, let me do this way because I think it's better. I leaned onto my understanding. So if I'm in my house and I say something and somebody wants to lean onto their understanding, they're wrong as well, because God has made me the head of the house. So you cannot lean to your own understanding. If you're the leader, then you're the leader. If you're not the leader, you need to follow. Not to say that people can't suggest things, different things, and say, well, maybe this will go. But if the word of the Lord comes and it is a commandment or the Lord asks you to do something for him, then you need to trust that he is going to take care of you. These are jewels that Pastor puts, they're pearls of great price that he gives us. Don't do anything for God to curse you. That's what he says. The reason God has cursed you is to stop the victory that you were created to enjoy. You were created to enjoy victory. Don't do anything that will curse you. Punish it. Punishment is something that doesn't stop your blessings. Even though it has its own rewards, the only thing that can stop your blessings is a curse. So if God didn't curse Adam and Eve, then he would, the land would continue to be fruitful and multiply for them. These Jews will take you far in life, and you can trust the Lord, obey without questioning, and blessings will be upon you. Make us mistake, okay, you get punished, fine. But as long as you're not cursed, you will succeed. If you rob God, you are under a curse. And you will hinder the progress of Allah if you are under that curse. If Allah is not the first in your life, and Jesus is not the first in your life, then you will be cursed. There's a number of instances in the Bible where Jesus put the kingdom of God before family first. Yes, he will put the will of the Father before any earthly possessions and before any family members. Who comes first in your life? I said, who comes first in your life? Do your children come first? Does your mother come first? Who comes first? Your father? If that's the case, you will be cursed. Jesus left his earthly mother and father at 12 years old to go about his father's business, right? Jesus didn't stop his work because of his mother coming, running and saying, hi, oh, why don't you come talk to me? Why don't you, I haven't seen you. No. What did he say? My mother and my father are those that do the will. My brother and my sister are those who do the will of who? My Father in heaven. He forbade the disciples from going back there to their homes. He didn't let one of them bury their father. So you all are very learned men and women here. So I don't have to actually show you every scripture in the Bible because you know it's true. Are you really a disciple for Jesus? Are you really a follower? Are you a student of the word? Then why do you continue to run to your family when you're in trouble? What did Jesus say in Matthew? Let me just show you that one scripture. Let's turn to Matthew 10. And let's look what he said. It says, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And the man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy to me." Now, this is Jesus talking. This is not me talking. This is not Pastor Manning talking. This is Jesus talking. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy than me. What did I first ask you? Who do you love more? Your mother. Let's even go further. He that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Do you love your children more than Jesus? And he that taketh not the cross and followeth me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. So are you willing to give up your life for Jesus? Or are you willing to give up your life for your family? Why do you leave your inheritance to your family members? Why does anybody do that? Why does not anybody leave? If they're in the Word of God and they are in, let's say, the true church of God, because they could be in a church that doesn't mean that they're in the true church of God. All my family is in this church. I don't want to live with anybody that's not in this church. Some of you love your blood family, quote unquote, rather than the blood of Jesus family. You give them your possessions. I once told my father that I don't want the house. I don't need the land in Haiti. Yeah, give it to whoever you want. Give it to my sister, or let my father scribe. I'm sorry. Let my brother scribe LaFleur fight for it, because I'm not going to go and share something with people that are against this ministry. So don't come to me and say, okay, well, you guys can have it together, yada, yada. No, I'm not going to do that. Now, let's get back to why you will be destroyed. It's because you don't believe that trusting God is the number one thing. You don't believe that giving up your own life is what's required by Jesus. But Jesus said it, but we don't believe it. Jesus said it, but we don't do it. Jesus said it, but we have struggles because we want to take care of ourselves. We're selfish. But do you want to have life eternally, or you just want to have life on this world, on this earth? Lean not to your own understanding. That's what the word of God says. Trust in the Lord. Lean not onto your own understanding. Don't lean like Adam and Eve. Don't lean like Cain. Don't lean like the people in the days of Noah. Don't lean like the heathen family members that you have. Let me guess. You think they're saved, right? How can two be together unless they agree? So if they believe in homosexuality, right? And you know you don't believe in homosexuality, how are they saved? Or maybe you're not saved and they're saved. It can't, God is not going to confuse us. Either homosexuality is wrong or it's right. So if your family members are sympathizers of the homosexuals, saying, okay, they were born like that, then that means they don't believe the word in Genesis that God made male and female. God made it. God made whatever the gender associations that people want to talk about now. So you think they're good Christians, and not to defame the name of anybody who recently died here, but I'm sure that they thought their family members were Christians, and they thought they would come together to believe Jesus. But what did they do? They want to show off. I realize that anything I have can be taken away at any time. So say me and my family went on a trip, and on this trip, we boarded a plane to Italy. And then although I'm here, I have my family here, my allegiances here, I don't go to see my family members at all unless they come here. So say that happens, and then same thing with my wife. Our mother-in-law brought us here 27 years ago, and she left. And she left because she leaned onto her own understanding. She didn't trust that the Lord was going to bless her. She trusted in her own understanding. So as she trusted in her own understanding, she left. So when she left, she wanted to throw stones and say this and that. But say we all died in the plane crash, and I did not give a will or power of attorney to the Honorable James David Manning. She can come up and say, oh, that's my daughter, I claim her. Oh, she not having that funeral here. And that would be our fault. You can't blame them for doing what they always do. That's our fault for not taking care of business and not taking care of what we need to do. So if you may say, oh, that's not going to happen to me, but you don't really know what your family members will do when you're gone. They probably don't respect you. They don't respect this church. So what are they going to do? They're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to be like, oh, man, I've known her for 70 years. This is my sister. This is my blood. This and that. You know, I should have authority. But they don't have authority over your soul. So if they don't have authority over your soul, whether you're going to heaven or not, then they shouldn't have authority of your body, over your possessions, over anything. But the first time I think I had a fight with my family member is when Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy, was running for office and presidency. And that night, the night of the presidency, the night of the election was a long night for me, because we were going texting back and forth. He called me, and I was like, I just hung up the phone, and he's like, I was like, no, he's not the president. He's not going to be. He's this and that, and he's the son of Satan. And they didn't believe that, and he was going off about how Pastor was a false prophet and all of this. And you know what happened to him? A few years later, his son became a homosexual. He left my aunt in shame because of his attack against the house of the Lord. And what you want to do is do not allow the Lord to curse you. Don't do anything to this house that the Lord will curse you. Don't lean on to your own understanding. If Pastor Mayor says, okay, let's be here at 9 o'clock every morning to do this, then come at 9 o'clock. If the Honorable James David Manning says, let us feed the community, let's feed the community. If he says, let's give to the poor, give to the poor. Do not lean on to your own understanding, and you will be blessed. Well, don't forget to give. You don't want to be cursed with a curse. And until we meet again, peace out.
This ain't no mystery.
Lord, I see the mountains, Lord, I see the ocean. Or is it just my imagination? I see creation. I see Lord, I see the birds. Lord, I see the bees. Lord, is it just my imagination? I see creation. I see, Lord, I see the flowers. creation I sing. Lord, is it just my imagination? I see creation, you know me.
When the righteous are hated for the truth of the Lord, all because they stand strong in His word. When the pain hits so deep, just fall down on your knees and give all your burdens to Him. For this battle belongs to the Lord. Yes, this battle belongs to the Lord. When the weight of the world falls upon your shoulders, know the battle belongs to Him. Sometimes it may feel nothing good comes your way, and you feel all alone in despair. Know the Lord's made a way. He has brought you thus far. Go forth in the name of the Lord. For the battle belongs to the Lord. Yes, tell you a little story. Here I go. Thinking back to the days when I was younger and so free. Wondering when I lost my dreams, when did I lose all of me? Now my dreams right before me, dancing in my face. When did I stop the dreams from coming? When did I get to this place? Going round and around, where will I end? Where I'm going, only God knows. If I just dream, truly believe, I know I'll find my way to the top. Never give up, keep pushing on. I'll never quit or ever stop. I'm going into another place. Ooh, here I go. Here I go. As I look at my life, I realize I want to fly. Wanna reach everything I can, wanna spread my wings up high. As I walk down this narrow road and I look back upon me, never thought I would need and love who the Lord has called me to be. I'm going way beyond all of my dreams. Where I'm going, only He knows. If I just
Coming to you live from New York City, it's the Manning Report with your host, Dr. James David Manning. The truth behind the news and the news behind the headlines.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out, righteousness.
I got joy in my soul. God is in control. I got Satan on my trail, but I'm singing all this well. He's attacking every day, but I'm watching while I pray. No matter the attack, I won't turn back. This means war. This means war. Say this means war. This means war. I plead the blood. I plead the blood. There's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. Yeah, you can't have my family. You can't have my family. You can't have my increase. You can't have my increase. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my. You can't have my. You can't have my. I plead the blood. There's power. I plead the blood. There's deliverance in that blood. I plead the blood. I plead the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. Hey, I said you can't have my family. You can't have my the blood of the Lamb. I plead the blood. This means more. This means more.
Welcome, everyone, to the Manning Report. I am your host for today, Sabbath Rachel Leffler, sitting in for the Honorable James David Manning, who, as we've been saying all week, is getting I guess R&R is the best way to say it, rest and relaxation, and certainly he deserves it. Mother Manning deserves it. I'm eager for their arrival. Not so soon. Give them time. Go drive. Go explore. Go have a great time. Go eat. Go rest. But, every time Pastor takes these trips, he comes back with something, maybe I should say more profound, because we already get profound teachings in this house. But he comes back with something even more profound once he gets out into the mountains. So certainly we are thankful and grateful to the Lord Almighty. His name is Jesus. The pastor was able to get away this summer. I think about the future coming up, and I don't know I know that we're in the midst of the tribulation. Let me put it that way. And so we'll see what takes forth as far as vacation goes. But Pastor has instructed us some time ago to plan our next 5 vacations. So in just keeping to be obedient with the things that he's given unto us, we'll see what the Lord does as we go on in the future. Now, we are coming to you live from New York City in a community that God has called Atla, all the land anointed holy, formerly known to the rest of the world as Harlem. This is a land where there will be 50,000 righteous men living for the Lord. And as you can see behind me, we have another day where it is wet and extremely cool outside. In fact, so cool, I saw a woman standing at the bus stop this morning. She had on a jacket and a scarf and a hat. That's how cool it is. And we are still in the midst of summer. But all of this for the past couple of days has been a result of Tropical Hurricane Debbie, or Tropical Storm, should I say, Debbie, who has hit South Carolina for a second time last night. And from the last reports, 7 people has died as a result of Tropical Storm Debbie. Certainly we want to pray for those families and those individuals. So let me do a fast recap before I get into the news, because there's a lot that I want to talk about today in this hour. There was a 7.1 earthquake that hit the shores of Japan, and I believe this was early this morning. Now, even with that being said, because it hit the shores of Japan, thankfully, no one was injured. They said a couple of people fell. Of course, they felt the earthquake, but no one was injured. So we certainly want to praise God for that. As well as Austria stops a teen who was teen plot, who was set to attack a Taylor Swift concert there in Austria. They had to cancel the concert. And, as I was watching the news last night about this, people were extremely upset. Not so much that there was a terror plot, and I certainly don't want to make humor of this at all, but they were upset that they were going to miss the Taylor Swift concert. She is a mega giant in the world of pop music. She has extremely dedicated and loyal and faithful fans who will do just about anything, pay about any amount to view one of her concerts. And so, I saw a young girl who was sitting with her mother, just really upset about the fact that she can't attend the concert. The great thing about what Taylor Swift is doing is she's refunding everyone their money back who paid to see the concert, but they were able to stop a teen who wanted to disrupt this concert. And so, we've seen this in the days gone by, and we're going to continue to see this killing spree that people are plotting and planning all over the place. It's certainly not going to end. Also, Tribulation Trump is set to hold a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, and that should be happening shortly. And as well, Tribulation Trump has been saying for the past couple of weeks that he's not going to debate Kamala Harris. He said, well, if she's not going to go on Fox, I'm not debating her. And recently, over the last couple of days, he is now saying that I'll debate her anywhere, anytime, any place. Woo! That's what he's saying now. What do you think would happen at a debate between Tribulation Trump and Kamala Harris and J.D. Vance and Tim Walz? I mean, that is certainly something to behold. And I can tell you millions of people will be tuned in to watch that debate, including myself, just to see how they respond to one another. That should certainly be interesting. So that's going to take place soon. And if you look at the leading polls, as we're talking about Harris and Trump, Kamala Harris is still leading. She is, as of recent, the polls have stated that she has 53% and Tribulation Trump now has 47%. And I've said to you before that, you know, when you talk about polls or you're looking at polls, it can change at any moment. There is a long time between now and November. And so though many of the polls are showing that she's leading, that could easily change. That could change in a drop of a hat. That could change for any number of reasons. Surely we're going to see a lot as we watch this political event between these two parties or these two individuals or groups and so forth. And, you know, talk about being ugly, talk about being wicked, talk about being whatever you want to talk about. This is a serious fight between the Harris and the Trump supporters. And later on, I'm going to show you a chart that I put together where I was looking at the supporters, those people who supported Tribulation Trump and those people who supported Kamala Harris. And so, you know, going into that, I was looking at the different groups that Kamala Harris has before her. And interestingly enough, my eldest daughter, Anna, said to me, as we were talking about this, you know, when we have our dinners, we discuss all kinds of things, and politics is one of the things that we discuss. And she was saying to me, she said, Ma, you know, you look at all these supporters that's supporting, whether it be Kamala Harris or Tribulation Trump, and you see all of these race, how much race is involved and who's following who. And so I was looking at that, and I came across a group, and this was posted in the news. I'm sure some of you have heard of this, where they call it White Dudes for Harris. They've actually made a group, and I was looking deeper into this, and many articles have stated as a result of Harris being placed on the ticket that there have been many Zoom groups that have come out in support of Kamala Harris. One particular group, again, is called White Dudes for Harris. And what's interesting about this group is they have said that their account was targeted by X for the second time. Not just the first time, but for the second time. So I pulled up the article because I wanted to get more information about it. And it states that White Dudes for Harris said its X account, formerly known as Twitter, was labeled as spam just a week after it had been locked and then reinstated on the Elon Musk-owned platform. Now, for those of you who don't know, Elon Musk supports Tribulation Trump. This is his platform, and they are saying that they have been locked and then reinstated, but now their account has been set to spam. And then it goes on to say Musk has publicly endorsed Harris' opponent, Donald Trump, a leader of the political organizing group for Kamala Harris, claims there is a double standard on Musk's platform, despite the billionaire's longstanding claim to be a free speech platform. And then it goes over here and it says, this is a statement that one of them makes. I'm over here getting white supremacist memes in my feed. And when I report them, I'm told they didn't violate policy. This is the lead organizer, Ross Morales Rocado. And this is what he posted on X on Tuesday. But then the @Dudes for Harris account gets throttled because maybe they're afraid, as he makes that statement. And so here we have it, White Dudes for Harris. But I want to pull up the Harris and Trump supporters sheet. Now, when I was putting together this sheet, looking at the various supporters who supports either candidate, I didn't make a list of everyone because once you get to the billionaires alone, there is a list of billionaires who support Harris and a list of billionaires who support Tribulation Trump. But I was looking at specifically if there were any new groups that have come up out of these campaigns to support either candidate. And so here's the list here. So if you look at the Harris supporters, and that's what we're going to look at first, you see they have a group called Win with Black Women. They have a group called Win with Black Men. They have what I just talked about a few minutes ago, White Dudes for Harris. And then on the other side, they have a group called White Women for Harris. They have the Silicon Valley Insiders, the tech billionaires, which I was talking about, venture capital, Wall Street billionaires, George and Alex Soros, and this is just a couple of billionaires that I listed here. It was too many to list all of them. And then we have Melinda Gates, who is the former or ex-wife of Bill Gates. And then look at the Trump supporters. So now we have Pennsylvania for Black voters, Georgia for Black voters, Black Americans for Trump, Latino Americans for Trump, Silicon Valley elites, Elon Musk, who has created a super PAC Billionaires for Trump group, Securing America Greatness. This is a group, a dark money group that supports Tribulation Trump. And then you have individuals of these grand organizations like Jamie Dimon, who leads JP Morgan Chase, and then Steve Schwarzman, Blackstone CEO, and then Joe Ricketts, who's the chairman of TD. And so you look at these supporters, you look at both groups on both sides of these groups that have come up as a result of support for either candidate. But if you saw the list of billionaires that I looked at who were either in support of Tribulation Trump or Kamala Harris, I said, my God, you're talking about people who have donated thus far a large amount of money. And the last I checked, it may be a little bit more than that now, but the last I checked on the Harris campaign, she has been given or raised, should I say, over $300 million. Especially, I think they said, and I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me, but I'm trying to remember what I read. I think that I read something about once she chose Tim Walz as her VP running mate, that in 24 hours, she was able to raise $38 million. Some places said $42 million. So it runs between $38 and $42 million that they were able to raise since the picking or the choosing of Tim Walz as the vice president to run alongside her. And so you look at all of this, you're talking about millions of money that have been raised for both candidates. This is a serious fight. You know, we talked about the strength, and I'm not going to spend any time on that today, but, you know, you put your money where your mouth is. These are not people just saying, I support you, Kamala Harris, I support you, Donald Trump. These are people who are showing their support because they're giving millions of dollars. And so for whatever their reasons are to support these particular candidates, they're backing them up by giving them millions of dollars. And so, you need money. If you're going to run any campaign, you need money. If you're going to do anything in this kingdom, you're going to need money. And certainly they have the backers and the support of major billionaires who are donating to both campaigns. And so this is going to be, I think Pastor put it best, that the word that he used was a bloodbath. This election is definitely going to be a bloodbath. You're talking about people who strongly support either candidate, who want their candidates to win. Either side. They want Donald Trump to win. They want Kamala Harris to win. And they will do just about anything to have them be voted as the president of the United States. And so as we watch this unfold, this is very, very serious. Now, I'm going to mention again today, because I can't not mention it. We are in the midst of the tribulation. If you don't realize how serious that is, then there's nothing else that I can really say to you. But as we are watching this unfold, and this is just the month of August, God help us as we go forth with all of the things that are going to be seen, the things that are going to be heard, the things that people are going to be doing just to get their candidates to win. And so, we need the truth. We need the word of God. That's really all we have. All of our hope, all of our dreams, all of our success, all of what we want to see or happen in the future. If you put it in either Harris or Tribulation Trump, I can tell you right now, you have lost. You have lost. Let's turn a corner real quick before I take a break. So in 2017, Kamala Harris, they pulled out a video. Of course, Fox News is running with this. They pulled out a video of Kamala Harris stating that everybody needs to be woke. And the one thing that I have seen time and time again, people now can use AI to do all kinds of things. But every video that I see with Kamala Harris, she is laughing like a hyena. I mean, just laughing and just grinning and just and almost every statement that she makes, it's hard to really take her seriously when she laughs so much or she smiles so much. But in any case, in 2017, she did a video where she said everyone needs to be woke. And they pulled a clip, a 13-second clip of her making these statements. And then we're going to play this clip. I want you to hear her. I want you to watch her. And then I'm going to give you the context behind her making these statements. So let's run video clip number 3.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Now, maybe you all understand that, but I don't even understand what she's talking about. Now, you could talk about being the wokest or woker or worker or woke. I don't even understand what she's saying. Nonetheless, this was a video clip that was pulled out, and they said that it may come back to bite her in the behind. But I wanted to know what was the context of what she's talking about, because the Democratic Party has been talking about woke. Gen Z, millennials, the younger generation have been talking about you got to be woke. You got to stay woke. You need to be woke. You need to be the woker. You need to be the woke-ass. You need to be woke. You need to be all of this. And so in the context of making these statements, this was from 2017, and I got this from the Post because they're the ones who actually reported about this in 2017. It says she was at a conference, and the conference focused on issues such as immigration and the environment, including Harris speaking out against the Trump administration's drug policies and immigration policies just moments ahead of her call for Americans to be woke. And then this is her statements that she made at this conference. I get upset when we say we're going to shut our door to refugees who are fleeing such atrocities and have been standing in the line for 2 years to qualify for refugee status. And they arrive here and we turn them away. Yes, I'm going to get mad about that. I'm going to get mad when we have an attorney general who's trying to resuscitate the war on drugs and thinks the greatest evil that mankind has ever seen is marijuana. Leave grandma's medical marijuana alone. And these are statements that Harris stated. But then it goes, she doubled down on her comment in a message posted to X a day later, and that was that clip that we just saw, where she says, we have to stay active, we have to stay woke. That word that she used, woke. And again, we all know this party is grand in their stand for this word woke, that we need to be woke, we need to stay woke, and so forth. I don't know. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words. Sometimes it just seems a little unreal when you watch all of this and you see all of this. I mean, this is an individual who is running to be the president of the United States, who is constantly laughing and constantly grinning and talking about how you need to be woke and you need to be the woke or the woke-ass. I mean, sometimes it's just hard to believe that this is where we are, but yet it is what it is. So we'll continue to see all of these things. And I can tell you they are going to find and dig up everything they possibly can on Kamala Harris, any old videos, any old photos, any old whatever they can find on her, and they're going to pull it up. And they're going to do the same for Tribulation Trump if it hasn't been done already. We've seen so many skeletons of Tribulation Trump thus far. I'm sure there's more that they can find that they're going to dig up as well. So this is an extremely ugly, ugly fight as we witness all of this. And we're going to see more. We're going to hear more bombshells. We're going to see more as we go forth. Let's take a break, and I'll be back with more of the Manning Report.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out, righteousness. Great news, everyone. I want to report our first major victory over the Bank of New York Mellon, known commonly as the Mellon Bank, over Robin Vance and the NYCTL. I want to report our very first victory over them. Now, we have more victories to come in courts, but in August of 2022, nearly 2 years ago now, we staged a one-week protest against the Watermelon Bank. Now, it's the Bank of New York Mellon, but we're calling it now the Watermelon Bank. And we were there for one entire week, 5 days straight. And after that, we learned that the largest depositor in the Mellon Bank was the Berkshire Hathaway's genius, Warren Buffett, who has $38 billion in the Mellon Bank. Warren Buffett took his $38 billion out of the Mellon Bank in the first quarter of January 2023, after we had protested Smith and Walensky's restaurant, where Warren Buffett holds an annual meeting with anyone who's willing to pay as much as $2 million to have lunch with him at that prestigious steakhouse here in New York City, Smith and Walensky. We protested against that for one entire month. When Warren Buffett heard that a church was being persecuted by Robin Vance and the Mellon Bank, or the Watermelon Bank, he moved his $38 billion to Capital One. And so now our major, and this is a major victory. This is a shout out loud victory over the Mellon Bank. Our protest from August of 2022 has brought us great gain and great victory. But not just did Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway's move his 38, that's a lot of money to take out. That was their biggest investor. And not just that, but the prestige of having Warren Buffett invested in your bank brought other investors there. They've lost all of that. And many of the asset managers, when Warren Buffett left, when Warren Buffett heard what the Mellon Bank, what the Watermelon Bank, what Robin Vance was doing to our church in Harlem, he took his money out. He protests. Warren Buffett protested and is protesting the Watermelon Bank, and praise Almighty God and hallelujah, and boom shakalaka goes right there. But it doesn't stop there. Doesn't stop there. No. American Baptist churches, of which I used to be a member of, also had its deposits in the Mellon Bank as a trust for their ministers and missionaries. The American Baptist churches, every pastor, every missionary, every deacon, every officer in the nationwide American Baptist churches across America, their retirement funds, their investment 401k programs, all of that money was collected by the Ministers and Missionaries Benefit Board, and then it was placed into the Mellon Bank. But I protested the home church of the president of the American Baptist Churches, Cheryl Dudley, or Dr. Dudley. I protested her church, and I protested the American Baptist Churches, the Madison Avenue Baptist Church on Madison Avenue, not I, but we protested during the same time that we were protesting the Mellon Bank. And Cheryl Dudley, Dr. Cheryl Dudley, when she heard that the Mellon Bank was crushing or trying to crush trying to foreclose and auction off and sell the Bethelite Community Baptist Church, which used to be a member of that organization. She then ordered the Ministers and Missionary Board to take all of their money, which could be $400 or $500 million that's in the Mellon Bank. She ordered it taken out. They're now banking with all of the ministers across America that belong to the American Baptist churches who have their retirement funds, their 401k program. It could be as much as $1 billion or $2 billion, pardon me, what I should have said, or $3 or $4 billion. She took that money out after I protested, after I raised a protest against the Mellon Bank. She heard it, and as a woman of wisdom, she moved her money. Any bank that would foreclose on a church in Harlem is not worth doo-doo. So she took her money out. And now the Mellon Bank has lost 2 accounts. The Mellon Bank is now being protested. And right now, Warren Buffett is in protest of the Mellon Bank. The American Baptist churches are now in protest of the Mellon Bank. And it's because we, the members of the Outlaw World Missionary Church, organized and led a protest against that Mellon Bank. We exposed that the Mellon Bank was robbing a church in Harlem, and Warren Buffett says he'll have nothing to do with it. I'm going to ask you as a friend, as an amico friend of the court, that you would write to Warren Buffett, to Berkshire Hathaways, or to any organization that can possibly reach out and say, thank you for helping Pastor Manning. No, you didn't give him the money to pay the lien because he doesn't need that. He is going to succeed and win a lawsuit against them. But thank you for write a letter to Warren Buffett. Post this up on your Twitter account or your X account. Post this up on your social media platform. Post it up on TikTok and say, thank you, Warren Buffett, for helping Pastor Manning up there in Harlem. Thank you for helping to save his church. Thank you, Warren Buffett. And not just that, but send a similar kind of tweet. Organize it. If it's in your heart to do it, God will show you how to do it. God will show you what social media platform to put it on. But send a thank you letter to Dr. Cheryl Dudley, president of the Metropolitan American Baptist Churches here in New York City. Send a thank you note to American Baptist Churches President Dr. Cheryl Dudley and say, thank you for helping Pastor Manning save his church from the vicious claws of the blood-sucking watermelon bank. Thank you, if it's in your heart. And if just one person hears me and writes to Warren Buffett and say, Mr. Buffett, you did the right thing by protesting the Mellon Bank. Dr. Dudley, you did the right thing by protesting the Mellon Bank. Thank you, for the church you save may be your very own. Well, my friends, we're in court now, and this is just one of the major victories.
You know, we have been blessed to have many young people in this ministry, a part of this ministry, whether it be music ministry, the school, and so forth. And a couple of the young people, specifically Jeremiah Farr and Israel Lewis, came to me this week. Jeremiah Farr came to me first, I believe it was Tuesday afternoon, and he said, you know, do you know Aiden Ross? And I said, Aiden Ross, who's that? And he said, oh my goodness. Then he said, Aiden Ross is this gamer that he had an interview with Tribulation Trump. I said, okay, well, I don't know who he is. And so I kind of brushed it off. And then yesterday, again in the afternoon, Israel Lewis, Izzy, said to me, you know who Aiden Ross is? I said, no, who is Aiden Ross? He said, well, you know, he had an interview with Tribulation Trump. He said, look him up. And so I said, okay, well, let me look him up, because this is the second time now I'm being told about this Aiden Ross person. So I pulled it up, and I saw that he interviewed Tribulation Trump. Now, I'm sure if you're like me, many of you have no idea who Aiden Ross is. And so I found out that Aiden Ross was a gamer, and not just a gamer, but Anna said to me he's a live streamer. right? He does all types of live streaming. I said, okay, I understand what a gamer is. I certainly understand a live streamer. And so I pulled up the interview that he did with Tribulation Trump. And I want to show you that because I thought this was very interesting. Now, you're talking about Aiden Ross is a young man. He's in his 20s. He's in his 20s. And again, he's a gamer. And if you don't know what a gamer is a person who is a professional, they play professional video games. And obviously, or I found out recently that they actually get paid for this. Professional gamers to play video games, they actually get paid for this. And again, he's also a live streamer, and I'm not sure what he live stream. And I asked Anna, well, what does he live stream? She says, I have no idea. I just know of who he is through social media. But I want you to watch this interview that he did with Tribulation Trump, because I was thinking to myself, well, why would Tribulation Trump know who Aiden Ross is? I'm sure he doesn't pay attention to that world of gaming and all of that. And so I want you to just watch this clip because it was very interesting as I watched this short clip.
Thank you. So I got you a gift. Well, a couple gifts.
Oh, good. That's good.
I'll show you, another gift. I'll show you, the second gift a little bit later. Okay. But I did get you a gift, and I got you this gift because, look, you are, I feel like you constantly get beat on, but you're so strong, and you just, like I said, you live for the people, and you're a hero. I wanna present to you this gift right here. I hope you like watches, Rolexes.
Wow. Oh, that's a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
Should I open it?
You should open it and then show the camera.
That's a great watch, actually. Good company. There's good company.
You like Rolex?
They like Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player and Arnold Palmer and all the golf guys and all the other guys too. I do. This is beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Don't they have nice packaging?
They do. Really, really nice.
Wow, that's so nice. Oh, should I show that to the audience?
Yeah, they can see it.
Oh, I didn't know this. Now I know it's worth it. Well, my boys said, "Oh, that's such a big show." I don't know what you're doing, but you really are respected. Amazing. I mean,
I appreciate it.
I go into other shows, nobody does a big deal about it.
I do want to say also,
thank you very much.
Shout out to Nelk boys. I know you love Nelk.
Oh, they're great.
They're the greatest.
Well, that was through Dana. Dana's very much into this world. Dana's a young guy, sort of,
Yeah.
He's a young guy, sort
Yeah.
of. But Dana is into this world like he could be an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
He knows more about you and the Nelk brothers and the Nelk boys, and he asked me to do their show. And I will tell you, I got a tremendous response.
You know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible.
Now look at this. This is the second gift to Tribulation Trump.
So you know what they did? What Google did is they took, or they let it happen. See the Secret Service agents here?
Yeah.
They're angry in there. They put smiles on their face.
Right.
You heard about that?
Yeah, no.
That's just terrible.
Yeah, I know. But that's how easy it is to manipulate everything.
It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary. We need like a system where we can quickly fact check things and see if it's real and authentic.
Yeah, and right now they don't have that.
No, they don't.
That's the problem.
So I know we're not going to drive anywhere, but I was wondering if you wanted to listen to a song in here.
Let's go.
All right, cool. This is how you open it up.
It is incredible.
Yeah, it is. I'll get on the other side.
Different kind of a guy.
Now, if you don't know what kind of car that is called a Cybertruck. And obviously he had it custom made with the images of Tribulation Trump holding up that fist. And in the front of the Cybertruck, he has it painted on Make America Great Again. But the reason why I thought this was interesting, again, because this Aiden Ross, again, he's a young man. He's a gamer, a live streamer. And he obviously is very good at what he does because he makes enough money where he can afford Tribulation Trump a gift as a Rolex watch and a Cybertruck. And I looked at the price range of Cybertrucks, and they ran between, I believe it was $98,000 to $200,000. But as you saw, that was a custom-made Cybertruck. So I'm sure it cost him a pretty penny to have that done. And so here you are, watching this young man who says to Tribulation Trump, I think that you're a hero and so forth. And then he gives them these gifts. Then he starts to mention other groups who I have no idea who they are, right? So this is one side. On the flip side of that, I'm going to show you a video by another gamer or a live streamer. Maybe he's more of a live streamer by the name of Kai Cenat. Now, I did not know who Kai Cenat was either, but my first time of hearing of Kai Cenat was either earlier this year or maybe it was last year, where the news actually introduced Kai Cenat. That was the first time I heard his name. And that was because he is this large live streamer who has, which I was told, millions of followers. And so he made an announcement that he was going to be giving out, I believe it was at the time, and this was earlier this year or last year, 500 video game systems. And I can't remember exactly what park here in New York City he was going to be. And he made this announcement through social media, I'm going to be at such and such place giving out 500 video games, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, that's what he was giving out. Whoever is the first 500 people will get free video games. He made that statement. He made that announcement. Within a couple of minutes, because he had such a large gathering, the news was passed to young people all over the place. And hundreds of young people showed up at this particular place here in New York City. What was the problem was Kai Cenat did not show up, or he showed up briefly, but then he left briefly. And the chaos that followed as a result of that was so tremendous that the authorities had to be called. And you see hundreds of police trying to control hundreds of young people, teens and young adults, all alike, mostly males, mostly young men. And they were just doing all kinds of things, as you can imagine, all kinds of chaos, destroying things, vandalism, jumping on people's cars. This was a major thing here in New York City. That was the first time I ever heard of his name, Kai Cenat. But because of Aiden Ross, who is supporting Tribulation Trump, Kai Cenat says he has gotten numerous calls from the Harris campaign to have her on his show. And as a result of that, and I'm going to let you see this video, because this video, it looked like he was having a tantrum. I don't know what is wrong with this young man. I don't watch him. I don't follow him. I have no idea exactly what he live streams or whatever it is he does, but he was having a fit. He was having a tantrum. And I want you to see how he responds to being asked repeatedly, as he says, these are his statements, he has repeatedly been asked to have Kamala Harris on his show, and this was his response.
A penthouse in New York. Then on top of that, I got the Secret Service calling me 5 times. I don't know about politics. I don't know nothing. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't give a okay? Listen, I had a bad that I've been trying to get on for like the last 3 years, the last 2 years that I haven't spoke to in like a year. I haven't spoke to this girl in so long, who gonna have the audacity to text me, we need you a part of the campaign. At first I was thinking she was talking about like a video game, like a Modern Warfare game, or if not that, a clothing brand. I'm like, what campaign? Shorty gonna say,
okay.
We're not gonna get into
All
details.
right, let's cut this. I can't stand here and watch the rest of this. So there he was having his tantrum, having a fit, that he says the Secret Service has called him 5 times, specifically through this young lady that he is trying to connect with or he had been trying to connect with some young woman who is obviously a part of Harris' campaign. And they have been calling him repeatedly, trying to get Harris on his show. Now, again, he has millions of followers. So it would make sense that Harris would try to get on his show the same way Tribulation Trump was encouraged to go on Aiden Ross's show. But he says, I don't care about politics. I don't give a bleep, bleep, bleep. And you heard all of the profanity he used. And I want to thank Scribe LaFleur for bleeping all of those things out. Obviously, he was extremely upset about the fact that they're reaching out to him constantly or consistently trying to get Harris on his show. And so, again, as I spoke to you earlier and talked to you about, they're going to do everything in their power to try to push these candidates and put them in places where you wouldn't normally see. I mean, where would you normally see a presidential candidate on a gamer's show or a live streamer's show? But this is because they're trying to appeal to the young voters. They're trying to reach the young people. And both these persons, in Aiden Ross and Kai Cenat, they have a huge amount of followings, a huge amount. And so if you want to reach them, obviously, this is the best place, as far as they're concerned, to reach young people, to get through to them, to try to see if they can gain their support. So as we watch all of this unfold, again, we're going to see more unfold of this. This is a ugly, ugly fight between no good and evil, between evil and evil. I mean, it is what it is. And so we're going to continue to see more take place as we witness all of this. Let's take one more break, and then we'll come back with more of the Manning Report. Peace be unto you and your family. Welcome to the Atla Children's Breakfast Program. We welcome parents and their children to partake in our breakfast program from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday downstairs in our fellowship hall. At 8:30, we end our breakfast program to run our elementary, middle, and high school. If you wish to inquire about our school, please speak to one of our staff. Have a blessed day. And thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es José Luis Matos. Soy uno de los asistentes ministros de la iglesia Allah World Missionary Church. Mi pastor James David Manning me ha pedido que le diera oficialmente la bienvenida a nuestro ministerio. Bienvenidos a ustedes y a toda su familia a disfrutar de nuestra comida y hospitality. También queremos invitarlos a nuestro servicio que se da todos los sábados a las 10 de la mañana. Si hay algo que podemos ayudarle, por favor déjenoslo saber. También tenemos una escuela desde el kindergarten hasta el 12 grado. Si desea inscribir a sus hijos, por favor contacte a la madre Elizabeth Saramani al teléfono 877-777-0734. El teléfono es 877-777-0734. Gracias. Peace.
All right, let's leave the campaign trail alone. I've had enough of that. And I want to go to other news, and this is specifically in regards to local news here in New York City. Now, I know that down south, school has already started for many students. I saw pictures of our dear sister Angela Kane. She put up pictures of her grandchildren and their first day of school. They started school up again. But here on the east side, school does not start for us until September, the first week of September. And there have been many changes that they are making to the New York City public school systems. And I wanted to bring that up, especially for the many millions of parents who have their children attending these public schools. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about now, this particular article or this news came out a few months ago, and that was the banning of cell phones in the classroom across New York City schools. Now, here in our school, in Great Tomorrows Elementary and Atla High School, we have been doing this for years. This is nothing new for us. We have been collecting the student's cell phone. So if a student has a cell phone, upon entering to the building, when they sign in, they have to turn in their cell phones. We keep their cell phones in a basket, we put it away, and they get their cell phones back at the end of the day. Of course, if they need their electronics for any school activities that they're doing in any particular class, the students are allowed to come and get their devices to use for the class period if it's needed by the teacher or requested by the teacher. But then after that, they have to return their devices, their gadgets, to be stored away until they are dismissed here in school. Well, it looks like New York City now is jumping on board. And Governor Hochul, as a result of trying to steer teens away from the overuse of gadgets and cell phones and iPads and tablets and all of these other things in which they like to record and go on social media, she has stated that she is going to do the same. And so they're going to begin, and this is going to begin probably January of 2025, where they will begin collecting phones of students who come into school, because as she stated, from many school sources, teachers, principals, etc., the phones are a distraction. And of course they are. Phones are going to be a distraction. If they have access to their phones, it's going to be a distraction. There's no doubt about that. So again, we've been doing this for years, but now it looks like New York City schools are jumping on board. And then I want to go to the there is an article number 1, where it says, and let me pull that up. So back to school 2024, all New York City public elementary schools will lock front doors by early fall. This is new. This is recent. Every public elementary school in New York City will soon have fully locked front doors and a 2-way video doorbell system. And they are looking to put this into place. And as you can imagine, because of all of the school shootings that have been going on, people just walking into the schools, though many of the schools have security guards and so forth, they are going to put into practice as of fall this year, the locking of the front doors, including putting a doorbell system. Now, again, in our school building, we have a doorbell system here, and we have a person who's designated on the door. So people can't just walk into our school building. You have to be buzzed into the school building. And we have a video camera that shows us who is at the door as a person is ringing the bell to enter into the premises. We take strong pride in protecting the students of our schools. Elder LaFleur, under the leadership of the Honorable James David Manning, works very hard to do everything he can to protect our students in the school. Our students don't have to worry about metal detectors. Our students don't have to worry about fights or being jumped and so forth. And so it is a blessing to know that parents can send their children to our school and not have to worry about those things. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is a video clip number 2. And this was just recently passed. And so I think it was Sister Princess who sent me an article last night that she read. And I read the article, and then I did some more research. And I found a video pertaining to the city council passes New York City schools dress code legislation. Let's play this clip, and I'll be back with more. This is clip video number 2.
On dress codes in the city's public schools are drawing strong reaction. CBS 2's Doug Williams covers education for us and explains what this could mean going forward.
Will all those in favor say aye?
The City Council on Thursday voted on 2 pieces of dress code legislation that may mean more freedom for students and more transparency from schools.
Right now, the policy exists on a school-by-school basis.
Councilmember Diana Ayala's bill, passed Thursday in the City Council unanimously, means the Department of Education now must post dress code policies on their website and publish reports on dress code policies at schools and any violations or penalties that occur. Then a resolution, which cannot become law but can influence future policy, states that the DOE take into account diverse cultures, gender expressions, and body diversity.
If I had to put my child in a thing that was not reflective of how they felt, and I have to send them to school, I would go back home to cry.
I don't think it's held them back to say the things that they want to or express their feelings about anything.
I taught them to be themselves, and I teach them at home self-esteem. And so I think every time they put on something, I tell them they look beautiful.
As for the resolution on Thursday's agenda, Councilmember Stevens, who wrote it, says it was framed by her many years working with city youth.
This is something that we're passing today to push forward so we can have more inclusive, so we can talk about gender equity, body positivity.
In a statement, the Department of Education stresses they already provide guidelines to schools on dress codes, saying schools must, quote, consider evolving generational, cultural, social, and identity norms.
And Doug Williams joins me now. We've been hearing reports, Doug, that people felt they were being unfairly...
You know, I am a parent of, I'm a mother of 5 children. I'm a teacher who've been teaching almost 20 years. I have a great concern over our children. You listen to those 3 adults who, I guess, they randomly found individuals on the street and they spoke to them about the dress code and, you know, they gave their opinions about it. But to say that if I had to put my child in something that they didn't like and send them to school, I would just cry. The mindset of adults in this day and age in regards to raising children, I really don't understand it. I mean, I really don't understand it. I would be one who would be considered a young parent, but I would consider myself and Elder LaFleur an old-fashioned parent because I believe in the values of the days of old that were instilled in children about teaching about work ethic and discipline. And obviously we get that from this house as well through the Honorable James David Manning. But since when would wearing a uniform, which is what our school does, by the way, and all students look beautiful. We don't have, and the reason why Pastor put that into place is because he didn't want children to feel inadequate. He didn't want children to see one student who maybe can afford certain type of clothing and another student who maybe not. They can't afford those type of clothing and name brand things. He didn't want them to feel out of place. And so he decided, well, everyone is going to wear the same uniform. It works perfect in our school. What is wrong with just having, this thing about evolving and changing into this gender identity and gender norm? I looked at the article again last night that was sent to me by Sister Lewis, and one of the things that said on there was that do-rag was a part of the cultural dress code for students in school. You know what a do-rag is? You mean to tell me that you're going to allow my son to come to school with a do-rag on? It's the equivalence of sending girls to school with a bonnet or a scarf on their head. Oh, you're going to school? Make sure you keep your bonnet on your head. Make sure you wear your scarf. Matter of fact, you don't even have to take your rollers out. Leave your rollers in, put on your bonnet, and go sit in school and learn. What kind of dress code is that for children? What are you teaching young people when you say it's okay for them to go to school with a do-rag and a bonnet on? What the hell kind of cultural dress code are you trying to teach them? The ghetto? Because that's what they do in the ghetto. And we're not trying to raise young people with the mindset of the ghetto mentality. We are teaching and raising young people, at least we should be, to be world leaders, to be successful, to give back to society, to contribute, to help their fellow man, their fellow brother, their fellow sister. What are you teaching them when you're telling them it's okay to dress in any old kind of way? Oh, we got to evolve now because, you know, we got this gender thing going on. So if they want to express their selves through their gender, through clothing, we have to allow that. We are living in a sick world in this day and age. And again, I'm very concerned. As a parent and as a teacher, you have, I can't say it on air because I don't want to get us flagged, but you have these buffoons who are raising children. You have these idiots, these ignorant as hell people raising children and telling them just be free, just express yourself, love who you want to love, do what you want to do, dress how you want to dress, and it's okay. What kind of future do you think we're going to have if this is what we are imparting in the minds and souls of children? But yet this is where we are. This is where we are. I think that'll be it for me today because, you know, as you can see, this really ticks me off as a parent and a mother. But the time is up, and we have to close out for today's Manning Report. So I'm just going to say to all of you out there, continue to listen to the words of the Honorable James David Manning. I pray everyone will have a blessed remaining balance of the week. To all of you out there, until we shall see each other again, peace out.